I don't know, like probably I forgot who I said actually, but yeah, I forgot who I said. But he was like, I think if I had anyone come out of retirement, I think it would be Hulk Hogan. I was like, no, I don't. I don't want to ever see Hulk Hogan come out. I don't even want to see him on TV. I, and then I came home and I saw that video of just everyone beating his ass. I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I would love to see that. If they bring him out for that, then yeah.
Just have all the black superstars come out and just give him a couple of good punches in the line.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, after it's a line of black wrestlers, they all come out and just get to whoop his ass for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he has to say sorry after each one.
Hey, just so you guys know, I'm sorry, brother.
Cool. Next guy.
A few punches to the face. Sorry, brother. Just 20 guys giving him punches to the face, and each time he has to say sorry, brother, after. And then the last one at the very end, the last one that comes out, the Jumbotron comes on, Booker T's music comes out, and he says, Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you, Nick. He runs down to the ring, does a spin-a-rooney in the middle of the ring, and then just continuously beats Hulk Hogan down. And then all of the rest of the black superstars get to sit around and just cheer for him. In the ring the whole time. Everybody's in the ring. If Hulk Hogan gets close, you get to kick him again.
Come back to the middle of the ring.
It's just a lumberjack match, but everybody's in the ring. If you bring Hulk Hogan back for that, then I'm down for it. But Triple H might do it. Vince McMahon would never. But Triple H, bring old Terry back. We got to talk to him about some stuff.
You do with a smile too. Hey Terry, how you doing? So we have this idea.
So I was talking to some of the superstars, and we just had a little idea. Mid-show, we just want to have you just go out to the ring, talk to the crowd a little bit, and then we're going to bring out some of the superstars to talk to you. They just want to get some things off their chest. And then we just need you to just kind of chill. Just roll with it. See how it goes.
Take a couple hits here and there. Nothing too bad.
But if anybody says we need you to apologize, just for the sake of the show, just apologize. Anytime somebody says, say sorry.
You don't have to mean it. I mean, we'll just say it.
Say it a few times. Anytime someone says apologize, say sorry. I'm sorry, brother.
There won't be any context. just say it.
Just say it. And then just roll with it. And then just take him out there and just whoop him. Just beat his ass. I would love that. I would watch that over and over. That'd be my highest watched YouTube video ever. Because even that TikTok is funny as hell. just let him let everybody just keep going and going. Don't even try to make it a match and don't even try to pin him. just
whoop his ass and then just leave.
Whoop his ass and then just leave him there. He'll figure it out. And then the next week you'll see him in like AEW. You want me to start it? You want to start it?
I'll start.
All right, go for it.
Welcome back, webheads. It's me.
Welcome.
You know who it is. Do I have to introduce myself still?
Yeah.
Do we?
Yeah, because who knows who's starting here?
You start. Sure, you're gonna start on this obscure story.
Yeah, you don't know. This is the newest episode that's gonna come up for some people.
Sure, okay. It's me, DeMarco.
And it's me, the co-host, Steven.
Yes, we're both co-hosts. Neither of us are just the host.
I've never met this man. We have no relation to each other.
No, none at all.
We just met, I don't know.
If not 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. 5 minutes, 29 years. I don't know the difference, honestly.
Who knows? Time flies when you're just doing your own thing.
When you're moderately having fun.
So, if you're one of the people just listening, never listened to any other episode, and you just found this random podcast, and you're like, hey, this looks interesting.
Or somebody might have done their job and shared it with you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they didn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
They said, listen to this podcast. I'm not going to give any details.
Yeah.
And so this is a show with two dudes. Mm-hmm. We read Marvel comics.
Yeah.
And what we're doing is we're reading the events all the way back from 1930?
1939 is where we started.
And we're reading all the events from then to try to be current.
Yes. And we are not close to being current.
Not even
whatsoever.
Not even close.
We tell everybody this all the time. We went from 1939 to 1990 in a little over a year.
Yeah.
And we are in 1990 right now, and we won't make it to 1992 until probably another year from now.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
It almost makes my brain hurt.
Yeah. So when you watched The Waterboy and Captain Insano said he shows no mercy, Marvel also showed no mercy during this time. They said, you want events? Guess what? I got an event every week.
And some of these are going to be big events. Yeah. So eventually, not for another couple of years, probably a lot of years. Mm-hmm. Something more modern that you guys may know, Civil War, the Marvel Civil War. We won't get to that for a while,
a
but
really long time. That's
like a big major crossover storyline.
Yeah.
But you also may get something small, like today's story, which I forgot the full name of it, but it's a small story.
Do you know any part of the name of it?
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't necessarily use the title in any of them. They're all titled different.
Okay.
So it's not like blah, 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 part 1, part 2, whatever. It's just this issue is invasion. This issue is detonation. So all I ever have to go off is...
I promise we know what we're talking about for the most part. But
the main point of me saying this is that you get a lot of different types of crossovers and events. And so you guys stick around with us, have some fun, sit back, relax, maybe learn something about some characters you like or characters you didn't know. And then maybe that'll get you into them.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're here for.
So let's get started.
Let's go.
Hello, hello, hello.
So, let's see. Not much has happened since last week when we recorded the Sinister Six.
What did happen? I feel like there was something. No, not much.
No. Nothing.
Just chilling. Just
hanging out, reading comic books.
I haven't read too much. I still have like a back catalog of books that I think I'm gonna like slow down on buying like physical books, just because I haven't read them. I might just wait for them to come out on the app now.
Yeah, I sometimes that happens where I have. Recently, I had like a backlog of like 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks. and then because I was trying to catch up on stuff for the show, so it's like I usually don't read for the show and then do the physical books like at the same time. So I'll finish one and then go to the other ones. But I was procrastinating, taking my time with the Sinister Six story last week, and then I was like, I'm not reading my books until I finish this episode. And then I just kept pushing off the episode, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna read the books. And then I had like 3 weeks of like backlog of comic books, so I was like, I should probably read these before I go pick up my books for this week. And then I just went on a binge and read like 15 comics in like 2 days.
I used to be able to do that. I used to, when I was like diehard buying books like every week, I would buy maybe like 8 or 9 issues at a time of different stories.
Yeah.
Go through maybe 5 or 6 of them in a day. The rest I'd go through the next day. Mm-hmm. But now I can't do that. I just don't have the mental energy to do it.
I could do it most days if I didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Like if comics came out on a Saturday, I could probably pick them up, read it, like most of what I pick up that day, and then just chill. But they come out on Wednesday. There's a good chance I pick them up on Wednesday every week, and I act like I have to pick it up 3 or 4 days if I read them that week at all. Otherwise, they're just like sitting on my desk right next to my computer, and I stare at them every time I walk by.
Yeah.
Don't touch them.
Same. Yeah, I have a stack of maybe like 5 or 6 on my desk that I keep telling myself I need to read those. Mm-hmm. But each time I sit down and I don't have anything to do, I'm just like,
I finally filled up like my first like box, like storage box for comics. I finally filled it to where I can't put anything in there. That bitch is heavy. That shit is heavy as hell.
I think I have like 2 storage containers full of just different books.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's in any of them.
Yeah, send them out. Find some good ones in there. Send them to get graded.
Yeah, that was my plan. I still gotta do that. Yeah, I think maybe I will. It's just a process.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't want to have to go through that.
Yeah, because with the books that I got last week, I finished reading them and then I looked at the storage box and I was like, because I tried to keep all the stories together, and I was like, oh, some of these have to go in there. And then I looked at the box and I picked it up and I felt how heavy it was and I put it up on my desk and walked away. And I still haven't even put them back in order yet. Now those books are just sitting on top of the storage box. So I think I got to get another storage box soon. Because I'm using like some other like makeshift empty basket that I found.
I saw this guy on TikTok. He had like the cardboard boxes, but you can stack them up and everything, but they slide out from the front too. I guess if I liked it, so I can send it to you.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty close to getting one of those ones that you see in the offices. It's a
file cabinet.
Yeah, it's a file cabinet. Pull it up, float through them real quick, close it, put it back. I might just do it. I'm sure I can find one for a decent price.
Oh, have you guys played Marvel Snap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I'm definitely not as far as you from what I saw last week. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's easy.
It's chill.
You just collect cards. There's not like any hard part or anything. It's just how you play the cards.
Yeah.
And the games are super quick. You're done in maybe like 5 minutes at the most.
Have you lost yet?
Yeah, I've lost a lot of times. Most of the time I'm winning. I'd say if I give myself like a percentage, maybe 80% of the time I win.
Man, that must be a tough life. I've never lost. Couldn't be me. Yeah, I got close one time, but the person I was playing didn't put the card where he should have put it.
Yeah, I get a lot of those where I'm like, damn, I'm gonna lose, and then they don't put the card where they should have.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I won, so I was like, all right. But as soon as when that happened, I turned it off after. I was like, I pushed my luck enough for today. Let's see. What comics are coming out this week? You know what book I got last week or 2 weeks ago, I think? It's not a Marvel comic. It was I Hate Fairyland, a Scotty Young book.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Is it?
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't read any of the stuff previous, but they just started a new #1.
Oh, okay.
So I picked that up. Yeah, it's cool. I think I'm going to pick up the other one too. All right, whenever the second one comes out. And then at the end of the book, it shows you like the other stuff that he's wrote. And I picked up I ordered one on Amazon. It was a trade paperback called, sorry for the delay. It is called The Me You Love in the Dark. It's like a horror story.
Oh, cool.
From Scotty Young. It's only 5 issues, but it looked interesting. So I'll let you guys know how that turned out next week. But what are they listening to out there?
I keep hearing like little things, but I can't fully understand what I'm hearing.
So this week we got Avengers Assemble Alpha, #1. Captain America, Symbol of Truth. That is the Sam Wilson Captain America, #7. That story's been pretty good so far. We got Peter Parker and Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Double Trouble #1. We got a new Planet Hulk, Worldbreaker #1. Star Wars Darth Vader #29. Strange #8. And Strange Academy Finals #2. And Exterminators #3. That one's been pretty fun too.
The Exterminators?
Yeah.
I seen that one, and I couldn't remember if you told me it was Thunderbolt or that one that wasn't very good. So I was like, oh, let me...
Thunderbolt started kind of... Like the first issue, I wasn't sure about Thunderbolts. And then it's gotten better. But I think it's a limited series.
Yeah.
So #5 comes out pretty soon. And it said the story was to be concluded in 5. Exterminators is good. Damn, well, not bad. I only got a cheap week that week. Only 3 books. I'm in there. Because it was last week. Sometimes the price surprises me when I go buy books, and I'm like, I always have that urge, just like $50. Let me put a couple of those back.
Yeah, I was spending maybe 45.
Yeah.
Close to 50. Maybe every other week or every week. I couldn't remember how long I was going. But yeah, it piles up super quick.
Yeah. Most of the time it's between 25 and 30 for me. But sometimes those variant covers will get me. And all of a sudden the variant cover is like $1 more.
Yeah.
And it's like what I thought was gonna be like a $30 transaction is like $37. Like, damn. All right. I just take it, walk out, don't turn around. Only for the books that sit on my desk for like a week. Those variant covers get me.
Yeah.
I'm like searching for variant covers.
And it's I don't know why. Of course they're sometimes better looking art. Mm-hmm. But it's if you're not going to grade them or anything, they just end up in a box for you to forget about.
Yeah.
So it's what really do I search these out for?
think I'm gonna have to talk to you about trying to send some of my stuff in too.
Yeah, I think I mean, if you want to go like in on some of this, and we can just send a bunch in.
Cause I think there's a few that I might want to.
Yeah.
But that's all I got. Those are the books that are coming out this week. That Scotty Young one I'm excited for. It should get to my house today, and we'll see how it goes.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I don't really know what the story's about, so you're gonna have to.
Okay.
Help me out a bit.
Do you remember what it was called?
No, but I can look it up very quickly.
Yeah, because I was gonna go through my text that you sent me.
No,
but
I got it. It is The Crossing Line.
Crossing Line?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So today we're reading The Crossing Line.
Wow.
This is luckily an Avengers exclusive, so just happening in the Avengers books.
Oh, no
jumping around to other books or anything like that.
Jesus, those are rough sometimes.
Yeah, especially because there's sometimes different writers, different art styles, and sometimes they don't even connect really with the major story. It's just like a minor detail.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start off with issue number 1. Or not issue number 1, but part 1, which is in issue number 319 of Avengers.
Okay.
All right. So, deep in the dark trenches of the Atlantic Ocean near Iceland, we come in on a slender, dark creature in the ocean. We then find out that this is no creature. This is a submarine. Cut to the inside of the submarine control room, things suddenly go from good to bad when the controls in the systems go haywire, causing the captain to make an emergency call to have the submersible breach the water and check the exterior for any damage. At that very moment, almost as if it was planned, a helicopter flies overhead, hovering over where the sub penetrated the surface, and a team of people swing down onto the sub. Speaking Russian, they make quick work of the few men that get in their way and find their way into the control room. It is revealed that these terrorists are part of a group called the Peace Corps, and they have a man on the inside working for them that sabotaged the sub. The Peace Corps' main goal is to bring peace to the world, and they plan on doing it with this nuclear submarine. We then cut to Parliament in London, where they are discussing the matter at hand, as the sub belongs to the Brits, and the nuclear payload is enough to start a World War III. This has become priority issue number 1, and they know they have to bring in the big guns. We find out that one of the people in that room is none other than Peggy Carter. Ooh. And so she calls. So she and the President of the United States make a call to the UN and get the approval to call the Avengers out to help them recover the sub at any means necessary. At this time, the team consists of Captain America, the White Vision, Cersei of the Eternals, and Quasar, who was in a few stories back. He has the quantum.
And they're going to be in our story. All those same people are in our story next week, too.
They're a fun group of people. Definitely the most interesting Avengers team we've seen.
Yeah.
And so they make the four hop into their Quinjet and make their way towards the sub. They also have to pick up another hero by the name of Stingray. He's not technically a full-on hero. He's more of a marine biologist that has a suit, a superpowered suit that he has used in the past. He's also shown up in Armor Wars. Iron Man fought him for his suit. But he doesn't really see himself as a hero. He sees himself more as a biologist who just happens to have a super suit.
Hey, what'd you go to school for? Marine biology?
They tried reaching out to Namor, but they can't reach him, so this was their second.
Of course. How do you even call out for him?
With the conch. You say his name and throw it in the ocean.
Yeah, that'll work too.
And so back on the ship, has now been fully taken over by the terrorists. They receive a transmission from none other than the People's Protectorate, which is essentially the Avengers team of Russia.
Okay.
And so that team is made up of Red Guardian, Russia's answer to Captain America, Crimson Dynamo, their answer to Iron Man, Pruin, which is their answer to Thor, Vostok, also known as Sputnik, he's their answer to Vision, and Phantasma, which is sort of their answer to the Scarlet Witch, but not really. The team tells them that they will not allow the terrorists to ruin the world and use Russia as a scapegoat. So since they're Russian, they're like, you can't ruin our name. And they demand that they stand down. The Avengers, and I want to keep calling them the PP because they're such, I don't want to keep saying the people Protectorate. The Avengers and the PP arrive at the same time. They arrive at the same time, and their ships are able to fly underwater. So both teams, their jets are both underwater with the submersible. And a few of the members both jump out of the ships to fight each other. So on the Avengers,
underwater?
Yeah, the Avengers side, Quasar, Cersei, and Vision hop out. On the PP side, they have Vostok, Pruin, and who was the other one that was there? Crimson Dynamo. So they all jump into the water. They're fighting each other in the water, and we find, and then they're just going at each other because they just think, they don't understand why each other is there really. Back on the PP ship, we see Phantasma look up in horror as she senses trouble coming. She doesn't know who they are, but she senses that they want vengeance. And so when we jump back to the water, Stingray is also in there with the Avengers, but he's separated from the fight. He just wants to get in and get out, get this over with. So he decided to make his way to the submarine. But his plan was to jump through the missile, where they shoot the missiles through, and get on there and try to end it right then and there. So he breaks off from the fight, and he wants to end it as soon as possible, as he's not a true hero, with the intention of sneaking on the ship. But before he can make it onto the ship, they're attacked by Atlanteans. So the Atlanteans show up, and they want vengeance for all the trouble that the surface world has caused. Issue number 2, let me start how I wrote it. In our last issue, we left off seeing our two teams, both with conflicting intentions, duking it out with each other over who was going to stop the terrorists, when all of a sudden a third party enters the arena, the Atlanteans, led by Tyrak. And so Tyrak is like an Atlantean. He looks like, in the 90s when you would get action figures, and you can tell they just made them really cheaply because they're only like 2 tones, only 2 colors, and their arms don't bend at the elbows. They're just, that's what he looks like.
Yeah. He was in a few of the earlier stories.
Yeah, he's been in a few of them. So the two heroic teams put aside their differences and team up to stop the Atlanteans. They can't stop the terrorists and get the sub back if the Atlanteans jump in and blow up the submarine. So looking for vengeance for the destruction and trouble that the surface world has caused them, the band of Atlanteans wants them to suffer. So this isn't even like a full-on army. It's just a bunch of Atlanteans that have a grudge to pick with the surface dwellers. So they're causing trouble. When one of the Atlanteans tries to shoot Cersei in the back, Pruin throws his axe. Let me explain Pruin. So he's like their answer to Thor.
Okay.
But he has a red cape. He has a helmet with horns on it, not wings. And he doesn't have a hammer that shoots thunder and lightning. He has an axe that shoots thunder and lightning.
so it's just the exact,
almost the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He had brown hair as well instead of blonde.
Oh, perfect.
Crimson Dynamo, if you get just a big metal suit, man, it's red.
Crimson color.
Yeah. Red Guardian looks like Captain America, all red suit. Shield,
he doesn't look like the Red Guardian from the Black Widow movie.
No.
He's not chubby like that.
No. And then Phantasma just is a woman, black hair, black bodysuit. she has like telekinesis and like she can like merge people's minds and like do all that type of stuff.
It's kind of badass.
And then Vostok, he looks sort of humanoid like Vision. He has like a black and like gray kind of like tone going with them, but he's made from human, computer, and I believe alien technology. So
what was the team's name again?
The People's Protectorate.
Yeah, okay.
And so, yeah. So when the Atlanteans try to shoot Cersei in the back, Pruin throws his axe, causing the blaster to instead fire at the direction of the sub. With the intense heat and power behind it, hitting it causes huge damage to the exterior of the hull, which causes a lot of damage on the inside, which the terrorists don't know how to fix. They don't really have the crew to man this whole entire sub, so they're kind of like freaking out, like, oh man, this is going to ruin our plans. This gives Stingray the perfect chance to get aboard the sub. He's able to get aboard undetected through the missile pipes, and he's able to get there undetected and save the sailors that they had kept alive but hidden in the bowels of the ship. But he's also being watched by one of the terrorists, so they know what they're up to. The terrorists elect that they need to have the ship reach the surface so they can check it out and make the repairs. We cut back to the fight, and the Avengers and the PP have retreated back to their ships. They decided that both need to work together with the common goal of defeating the terrorists and diverting a new nuclear holocaust. Cap and the Quinjet get a call from the Stingray telling them that he's on the sub and what the terrorists may be up to. The terrorists found Stingray and are holding him hostage along with the other sailors and use him as a bait to lure the heroes to where they are. The terrorists demand that the heroes allow them to fix the ship or else they will start killing hostages. So at this point, the sub made its way to a nearby town. Their whole goal was to take the sub and take it to New York. But because of the damage that it attained, they just have to stop at the nearest town, which is Newfoundland in Canada. And it's like a really poor like town, pretty big, but there's a warehouse where they can go and make the repairs. So when they get there, they're all like trying to figure out how to make the repairs and everything. And then the Avengers and the People's Protectorate show up, and they're like all watching them. And the terrorists know they're being watched, so they say, hey, our demands are if you guys let us make our, repairs to the ship, or we're going to kill someone every 5 minutes. And so the Avengers and the People Protectorate are like, well, we can't let these people just die, so we're not going to listen to your demands. So they're like, all right, and then they shoot Stingray in the back of the head. And the Avengers are like, well, damn.
Well, damn, I didn't think they would actually shoot.
And so they're about to start attacking when they are stopped by another person. They all turn around to see Alpha Flight is there.
Ooh.
And so this version of Alpha Flight has Guardian, Puck, a character named Box, and who else was there? I didn't put their names down, but essentially,
that's wild. Whoever made those names was just like, what's in that box?
And so Guardian is like the team's answer to that's like their leader, their representative. And it's funny because like all the leaders have like their costumes represent the country that they represent. So Guardian has a maple leaf on their suit, but he can fly, has like psionic blasts and stuff. She can shoot laser from her hands and all that. She's the leader. Box is a mutant. He can transmutate with metal. So essentially Box is just the armor and he's the guy inside. But he can kind of like phase in and out of the armor and like make it turn into whatever he needs it to. And then Puck is just like a really short, like acrobatic guy. He has like higher than normal strength, and apparently in this he's kind of indestructible. And then the shaman. So he's like the team's sort of like Doctor Strange in a way. Like he can do like mystic stuff, and like he has a bag that has like tons of different dimensions in there.
I want to say we saw him in Contest of Champions.
There's, I don't know if it was that one or if we also seen him somewhere else, but there was one with like like Wolverine and Nightcrawler had to, they were in Canada for some reason and they met up with Alpha Flight. He was there.
I think that was it.
And so they're stopped by Alpha Flight who's like, this is happening in Canada, so we're taking charge of it. And so, part 3, Alpha Flight comes in and makes it clear that though the Avengers were ordered to take the sub back and the People's Protectorate were there to collect the rogue Russians, since the matter's happening on Canadian land, this is a fight of their matter. They come up with a plan to let the terrorists go to the warehouse to make their repairs, as the team also chooses to use the same warehouse as their headquarters without the terrorists knowing. So the terrorists move the sub, start making their repairs, and just above them, the team's up there making their plan on how they're going to attack. So they decide that they're going to have 2 teams. One team will go in through the hatch. The other team will go in through the missile silos, or a different exit in the back. And then the team that went in through the back will get the hostages. The other team will take out the terrorists. And so they split up. It's Captain America, Box, Puck, and I think Red Guardian. And then they're the ones who are going to go into the first hatch. And then behind is going to be, I believe, Crimson Dynamo, I think Pruin, and Vision goes. Vision and Vostok also go in the back as well, too. And so they're ready to go, and Red Guardian's like, I need to go. I need to be on this team. I need to stop them. And they're like, well, we can't let your national pride and everything get in the way of this. It's conflict of interest. And he says, I don't need to go because of that. I need to go because I know the terrorist. Like, one-on-one. He was my father's best friend. And then they're like, okay, you're on the team. I'm like, how's that not a conflict of interest?
Yeah, like...
That's even worse than just national
pride.
That
guy's known you since you were probably a baby. You think he's not going to try to talk you out of this?
And so they're trying to... And then we jump back to the ocean. We see the Atlanteans are kind of just like sitting around like thinking about another defeat that they just took. And they're like, what the hell? Like, these surface dwellers really just come down here, mess some stuff up, and then leave, and then we're just left with the rubble.
Yeah.
And so Tyrak is like, okay, we need to figure out why that submarine is so important to them. So he hits a button on his little underwater scooter that sends up a satellite, and the satellite beams back that the sub has like a nuclear payload. So Tyrak is like, all right, if they have that, why don't we just use that? Let them destroy themselves. So he riles up all his team again, heads over to where they are. Before the Avengers can make it into the sub, they're attacked again by the Atlanteans. And so Pruin, Quasar, and I believe, I can't remember who else, Cersei, I think. They're all fighting the Atlanteans while the other 2 teams go in and try to get the hostages out and take the terrorists out. So the first team won. Captain America, Red Guardian, Box, Puck, Vision. Oh no, Vision's on the other one. They get to the hatch and they're all jumping through, and then they realize Box can't fit into the hatch. He's literally like 12 feet tall, and he's like, Cap, I don't think I could fit in there. And then he's like, oh yeah, I didn't really think about that. And so he's like, oh, it's fine. I'll turn into a submersible and I'll just help them out on the outside. So they all jump in. They're making their way through the submarine. They all meet up and they're able to get the hostages out. And there's also a team, Shaman, Phantasma, and I believe Cersei, they're evacuating the hostages from, or not the hostages, the townspeople from the town. Mm-hmm. So if they can't stop the terrorists, at least they can try to get them further away from the nuclear bombs. And so all this is happening. They eventually make their way to the control room, and they see two of the terrorists have basically linked their minds and their bodies up to the controls of the nuclear missiles, and essentially are able to launch them just with the thought of their minds. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of that issue. Issue number 4.
You said there's 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me pull that one up, because I know I have it somewhere. And this whole time, I didn't make note of it at all, but the whole time, in a few panels, it's counting down. So it starts off in issue 1, I believe 17 hours until detonation. And then as we keep going, it gets slower and lower. It's almost like episode of 24.
Okay.
We'll go with this. $24. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. And so, yeah, they find out that the terrorists are linked up to this, to the submarine, and Red Guardian tries to plead with the guy, like, hey, like, what are you doing? You and my dad were best friends. This isn't you. You have a whole family you're ready to, let die. I have a family. Everyone here has family that you're ready to just destroy. And the terrorists basically tell them the only way to save this planet is to destroy the planet. Like, nothing brings countries together like nuclear war. Mm. And so if we set off these missiles, all it's going to do is cause these countries to come together for one cause and bring peace to the world. And so they're just
you must not know America.
So they're like, you can't do this. Vision and Vossag are like, because they're the most like computer, like they're thinking of coming up with ways of how they can disconnect them and save the day. And so cut back to the bay where they're working on the submarine, or where they're fighting around the submarine, and everything's going straight to hell because this has been hours at this point. They've been fighting for hours. They've been trying to negotiate with these people for hours, evacuating people for hours. Shaman has been teleporting people, but he can only teleport, I think he said 10 people at a time. So he can only teleport 10 people at a time, and he can only transport them. All they can go is to the other side of the island. So he's just sending people. Cersei's changing like the matter in people to allow them to like float over there, but nothing's going as quick as they can. And so they finally, it gets to the point where Vision tells Captain America, I think we can, if we cut them off at the right time and knock them out, I think this can save the day. Mm-hmm. So Cap is like, cool, do it. So they keep talking to them, and they're kind of getting to the guy like, oh, dang, like maybe we shouldn't do this. Like, this is kind of extreme.
You know what has to happen in somebody's head for them to want to just destroy the whole world because things are just never going to get better. Mm. And then for you to actually talk them down from that.
Yeah.
Like, he was so determined to just destroy the world. And in like a matter of minutes, he's like, oh, maybe I am going too far with it.
So this is like, this is a couple hours after. And then we also see that the terrorists, they're out repairing the ship, and then they see a flattened bullet on the ship, and they're like, why is there a flattened bullet on here? And then like they tell one of the hostages to check on Stingray, and he says, this guy's still breathing. No one thought that it wasn't weird that there was no blood when he shot him in the back of the head. So Stingray's still alive, just unconscious. And then So all this is happening. Vision looks at Cap and he's like, we got to do this now. So Cap gives the order and says, do it. So they rip them out of the machine. They think they did it. And then the terrorists are like, you idiots. Like, there's a failsafe. If you disconnected us from that, the nukes are going to go off. And so they're like, huh? And that's where the issue, that's where issue number 4 ends. Number 5.
I imagine that the writers wanted to put like zoinks right there.
So issue number 5 starts with the nuke going off. So the whole sub blows up. Everybody on it, the explosion traveling. So everybody who is on the sub, gone. Everybody moving people, across the island, gone. Everybody on the island, gone. Everybody's just wiped. But you see Shaman, right before he's about to get wiped, he reaches for his bag. And then we jump to Captain America, Vision, and everybody else on Team 1 floating in like what looks like empty space with like flowing black masses around them, like little black masses, and they're alive. And they're like, okay, this is a little weird, like what's going on? And then they find out that these black masses are alive and they don't like them being there, so they start being attacked. We then cut to Cersei and some of the villagers. Cersei's struggling to keep them protected because there's fire and heat and everything just all around them. She's the only one who can protect them. We cut to Guardian and another team who are just in this vast, endless desert, and they don't know where they are. And then we cut to Pruin and the Atlanteans and Box and everybody. They're floating in this just never-ending purple ocean, and it's storming and the waves are crashing down. None of them know how they got there. And then we cut to Shaman, who is concentrating so hard because last second he was able to take his interdimensional bag and turn it inside out, and basically as the explosion was coming, capture it and then turn it right back in. So what that left was a big empty sphere in the earth where like everything would have just been gone. But now it's all in his bag. But he has to concentrate on keeping everything just right. He can't combine all these different dimensions. He can't keep them too separate, but he has to keep them just right, just to kind of keep everybody close enough for him to keep in contact with. And so Cersei and Phantasma are together, but they're working hard to they're putting everything into it to keep this volcanic area from killing everybody. And so Phantasma and Shaman are communicating back and forth, trying to figure out what's going on. And Shaman tells them, okay, this is what I did. It's the only way I could have saved you guys. So we need to figure out some way to get you guys out. And so the only way what they need to do is they need to get everybody together so they can just do one, exit. Yeah. And so the only way they can do that is to basically push the dimensions close enough to where they could use Box's armor, because Box is with Pruin and the other Atlanteans, so they're able to use his armor to basically create a tow line, and so they can shoot that tow line through all the dimensions, link everybody up, and pull them into one spot. And so they tried doing that, but time moves so differently. So where Captain America is, they've been on the Quinjet for what feels like 2 days, but for Cersei, who was just talking to them, it's only been 5 minutes. And so they've already been fighting and discussing and all this other stuff for hours before the bomb even went off. But now they're even more exhausted because they've been surviving in these harsh, extreme conditions for so long. So they're able to get the tow line across all of the dimensions and finally pull each other into this big empty one. But as soon as they get there, they are met by what's now known as Combine, which is the two terrorists that were linked up. Mm-hmm. They're now these big glowing, like, you know, the Da Vinci picture of like the guy's arms out.
Oh yeah.
They almost look like that, but they're back to back. They're naked, just like glowing guys, and they have like those neutron like lines that are going like diagonal.
Yeah.
And they're essentially just like these godly beings now.
Oh, great.
And so they're stuck in this dimension with those people. And so that ends issue number 5. So issue number 6, we see the team is like, okay, these guys are obviously gods now. What can we do to like take them out?
So part of what's funny to me is like how jaded like people in like comic book world just become. Like, oh damn, they're gods now. What are we gonna do to kill them? Like, there's no way that could happen in our life right now. And two people just merge. We get stuck in like this off dimension, and then those two people come back as what we think are like gods, and we're just like, okay, we got to take them out. How are we gonna do this? Like, that shatters everything in our world.
So issue number 6, they're now in this dimension, and Combine's there, and they're like, okay, we need to start getting people out of here. Like, Shaman, can you do it? And he's like, yeah, now that everybody's together, I can start, like, getting you guys out one by one, or, like, group by group. So they're like, all right, send some of the civilians out first, and we'll get them. So he dumps some of them out, but as soon as they come out, like, they're all like, yeah, and then all of a sudden disintegrated. Because not only is he dumping them out, he's dumping the nuclear fallout. So the explosion is still happening, and once they hit the real world, so all the civilians just gone.
Great.
So they're like, okay, we can't go back. Like, we're going to die here, or if we go back, we send back all the nuclear radiation, and the world still gets destroyed.
Yeah.
So they're fighting Combine, and he's like, I can, or they are, whatever what it is, says, I can take your guys' radiation and save you, but I don't want to do that. I want to send you back with all the radiation, so my plan still goes through.
Yeah.
So they come up with another plan. Well, as they're fighting him, they realize that he's getting weaker. So they're still putting a dent in him, but as he's getting weaker, and if they destroy him, there's really no way they're going back.
Yeah.
So it's this whole catch-22 thing. So they come up with a plan to just keep fighting him. Hopefully, as he gets weaker, he starts draining their radiation to get stronger so that they can just hope to survive.
Yeah.
But with that, they also have not just civilians and hostages, they also have their other terrorists on with them. And those terrorists aren't part of the Combine yet, but they think, or they start to realize, like, okay, our plan is not what's happening here. We didn't want any of this. And we start to see, like, you guys are sacrificing your life just to save the world. Like, maybe the world isn't so bad.
Yeah.
So the other 4 remaining terrorists are like, we want to combine ourselves with Combine and hopefully outvote what they want to do. Because right now it's just a 1-to-1 vote.
Yeah.
But if they combine with them, then it's, 6 different people that have to vote. So they weaken Combine enough to where he starts draining the energy, the nuclear energy from everybody and everything that came in. And then in that moment, the other terrorists jump in and become one with Combine. So now it's 6 people who get to vote. And in that vote, they outvote the terrorists that want to blow up the world. And then they decide that they're going to send the heroes back with everybody and then just travel through dimensions and learn more about the different people and different places and everything. And that's the end.
That was better than I thought it was gonna be. I didn't I couldn't tell. Like, I thought it was going to be something different at the beginning of the story.
Mm.
And it wasn't something, like, crazy spectacular.
No.
But it was... I liked it.
Yeah, it was fun. Something I didn't add was, like, after they sent the civilians that disintegrated, once Combine started draining, like, the nuclear power, they're like, all right, we need to see if it worked. And the Atlanteans were like, send us first. And they're like, send us first. You know, if it doesn't work, what do we really have to lose?
Yeah.
You know, if it does work, then cool, you guys can come too. And then Captain's just like, you're right. So he just sent some. And they survived, so. And then they ended up helping the other civilians who, like, couldn't swim and stuff. But one of them, I forgot his name. It's like Morano or something like that. I'm pretty sure he's a Nazi. He has a swastika on his belt. And I was like...
Yeesh.
I was like, maybe you should have just left his ass there.
Yeah. You should have threw him out first. Wait, so the civilians that got disintegrated, did they come back, or they're just...
No, like, it shows them, like, looking at themselves, and the next panel is a bright yellow light and just their skeletons. And then they're just gone.
See, that's messed up. Like, the superheroes just go back to doing whatever they're doing.
And what was kind of messed up was earlier they were, like, talking about, like, before, like, any of this had happened, they were saying, okay, what's the okay amount of people, like casualties that we can have to where this is still a successful mission? And then some people were just like, there should be no casualties. Like, it should just be in and out. Like, we shouldn't have to count how many lives are okay to lose. Yeah. But you guys just sent back like 60 people that just got disintegrated. Like, and what was even more messed up was front row in, like, the panel of people was a kid. And then the next panel, you see just, like, a kid skeleton. I was like, damn. Like,
that's messed up. You know what I've been enjoying lately, though, is, like...
It's a weird thing to say after I just talked about a kid getting
Yeah. But, like, just the idea of, like, comic book writers coming up with this shit is really funny to me. Like, how did your mind even get to that point?
Yeah.
To merge two people to become a god. And, yeah. And then wants to travel and gain knowledge. Like, some of it just sounds, like, so stupid. And it's like, I know how you came up with this, and you should have spent more time thinking about it. And then there's other times like this where it's like, I don't know how you got to that point, but I like it. So this week, I'm surprisingly giving this a house blow.
I'm going to give it a house blow. No. The only thing I didn't like about it, I just found myself getting really annoyed with the Atlantean part.
Atlanteans?
I said forget about it, cuz.
Get out of here, dog.
I think it's because I liked the interpretation in the movie so much, and just seeing them being, like, weird armored fish people in the books are just... so old now.
Nah. Old no more.
I said forget about it, cuz.
Kick that fool to the curb. We don't want him anymore. Bringing the new no more to the comic books. And don't even acknowledge it. Just change it. Change it all. We'll retcon the whole thing later.
This is actually a body double. A scroll.
The real Nemours been in the oceans of space for eons. Oh, damn, I think my wallet just broke. Fuck it, dude. Piece of shit. I guess that's where we end it.
All right, folks. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys coming back week after week.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling your friends.
Thanks for telling your friends. Thanks for sharing, as always. If this was your first episode, like my judgy brother was fighting against this morning, or at the beginning of this episode, thanks for coming.
Hope you like it.
Hope you liked it.
The
good thing about these episodes is they're kind of evergreen, so it doesn't matter
Yeah.
where you listen to it, and it for the most part we're not doing tons of. Don't listen to a part 2, then go back to part 1. But
yeah, or I mean, you could listen to like the movie ones that we do, but like,
yeah,
eh,
just go back and listen to
just
any of
listen
them.
to all of it.
Get those numbers up. Run those numbers up, baby. Let's do it. All right, guys. We will talk to you later.
All right, bye
Peace.
bye.